to see this. On paper, it's an excellent matchup with these two teams, as you said, neighboring nations, and that coveted spot is up for grabs right here. Also playing for their country's pride. Interested to see how it goes. Excited to get it going.
Sweden yesterday defeating Bulgaria 15-2. While Denmark had to climb out of a hole, they trailed 7-6 at the end of 3 quarters against Ukraine, who played their very best game, won it on Thursday, 10-8. Face-off win for Jonathan Quigley. Quigley now makes his home in Sweden, and the shot ripped by Anton Bromander wide as we're underway. In goal for the Danes, David Goodman had only started playing goalie 4 months ago, and he has made a meteoric rise to learn the position. The attack for the Swedes, Ludvig Thompson, joined by Anton Bromander and captain Kevin Powers. Then the first midfield, Jonathan Quigley will make a lot of those runs as he has gotten healthy and will face off with Neil Schneider. As this ball is broken up by the Danes, but forced to back it out, and Anton Johansson, the 3 midfielders. Powers will pop out. UL Salenhag will get a immediate run for the Swedes as it get jarred away briefly by Marius Metz. Then the shot by Powers is wide, and defensively for the Danes, Peter Duffield, Nikolai Rasmussen, and Nikolai Posada are the 3 close defenders with Marius Mertz, the starting long pole midi. Coming out in front, Ludvig Thompson, and out to challenge there is David Goodman. So on July 7th, they played in Lund, in Sweden, Denmark crossing the bridge. On 7-7, they played about a full half plus and then worked on man-up, man-down situations. Shovel shot inside Anton Johansson, stop made inside by Goodman. It was pouring rain. They cut it off early, but they got at least a full half in of action and worked on special teams, and yet here they are. Peter Duffield ends up turning it over, and Sweden over the top with long pole midi Gustav Thompson. Behind the back pass floated by Powers, but it ends up being turned over. So there's a lot of familiarity, and we'll see how that may play out in this one. In goal for the Swedes, Richard Seidlitz. He's been their starter throughout, with Aron Larkenfeldt, Gustav Ekman, and Rafael Nielsen, the 3 starting defenders. And the long pole midi, Gustav Thompson. Denmark with their first possession. Denmark dealing with a host of injuries. Game 2 against Slovakia. They lost 2 starters for the rest of the tournament. On the drive right, here's Alex Bjorn. As Bjorn across, and Seidlitz has it. And now Sweden will look for the clear.
Yeah, that was a nice little look to the inside. The pass was a little bit offline there. Had it been online, he did have an open player there. Nice attempt, but Sweden will look to clear. You mentioned the nagging injuries, though, Ralph, and you know, we've seen a lot of that with all of these teams. You know, they're playing 6 or 7 games. You know, very few hours or days, but sometimes hours between games, and it is a lot on their bodies. Luckily, we've had some overcast weather, and it hasn't been as hot, but definitely everyone at this point in the tournament is dinged up to some degree.
7th game in 9 days for the 2 teams, as Denmark will come up with a takeaway, and the outlet ahead for Nikolai Posada. He is from California and just graduating high school, as the ball turned right back over by Denmark. And the Denmark attack, Torben Ogard is their leading scorer with Marius Katager. And Nikolai Lund on the attack in the first midfield of Dylan Pash, Bertil Katagar, and Alex Bjorn. And a takeaway, Marius Katager. And Katager leaves here for Nikolai Lund. Lund has had knee issues, but he is such a commanding presence on this Denmark team, doing so many things behind the scenes to help make Denmark lacrosse possible. Lund, 2 world championships. He's had knee reconstruction and still playing. Here's Axel Olsen on the field for the first time, number 5. And Denmark with their second possession. Torben Ogard, as that was wide of goal, looking for the bouncer.
I've had Denmark on 2 prior occasions, and I've been really impressed by Ogard. coming around from X number 3. He has a variety of skills that he has. He sometimes tries to do the backhand shovel shot when he gains goal line extended. Right there, he turns the corner, shoots left-handed. Quality player, and he sort of is the straw that stirs the drink for Denmark.
He's their leading scorer. Drops it off in front. Alex Farrington getting the shot off, and Seidlitz making his first save in that fourth quarter, where Denmark outscored Ukraine 4-1 to come from behind and defeat Ukraine. Alex Farrington had 2 goals, and Torben Aagaard also had 1 and 1, and that led them to the chance to play this game. Ukraine went on to defeat Bulgaria yesterday to capture 23rd place, to come up with their very first international win in their first international tournament appearance. And the Ukraine is showing great growth over the course of this tournament. Skip for Neil Schneider. This will carry past him on the feed from Ludvig Thompson. And Denmark will have it back. Still a scoreless opening quarter as we welcome you from Wroclaw, Poland. Yeah, slightly overcast, but it is not humid, and it is not expected to see any precipitation. Bertil Katager. Denmark fires the trailer. Darting through Dylan Patch, and Patch could not get the shot cleanly from an angle. It's picked up by Gustav Thompson, and the outlet for Seidlitz. Youngster Rafael Nielsen. And Sweden searching for a clean clear. The defender falling down briefly, Gustav Ekman. And the Swedes back to work for head coach Martin Davidson. Yesterday, he gave his team the day off. They rested at the hotel, focused on eating, hydrating, had a team dinner. They went to the Hard Rock Cafe in Wrocław. Something to stay off of their feet and just reflecting on their time together and spending time together away from lacrosse for the first time. We're preparing. As that feed by Anton Johansson into Powers. And these 2 winners, because they're playing in this 21st place game, earned this day off. Quickly taken away from the shot. Good defense by Nikolai Posada. And Powers to reset. No shot clock in the international game. And then this pass, Ludvig Thompson took his eye off of it, and now he is under pressure of Nikolai Rasmussen. As Rasmussen will take it away. Rasmussen learned lacrosse growing up in Denmark. He did a high school exchange year in California, Casa Grande High School in Southern California. His host family gave him a stick. He was hooked and discovered that Denmark has a growing lacrosse community and scene, as that's an over and back pass. And Denmark is going to have it here. And then Nikolai eventually pulled his cousin, David Goodman, into lacrosse. And of course, he never would have figured that Goodman would have to be their starting goalie in an international tournament. But Denmark already down their typical starter, James Robertson, was their starter in 2023. We wish him well as he sits at home. Their U20 goalie wasn't available. So Coach Ronnie Mathiesen had to go very deep on the small depth chart to try to find goaltending, and Goodman stepped up to learn it. That pass is over the stick of Alex Bjorn, and a turnover by Denmark.
Yeah, we're seeing some little bit of sloppy play on both sides, throwing the ball around a little bit here. Sweden will look to clear the ball and maybe get a nice settled situation. They had a nice one last time and just sort of stepped out of bounds. So 0-0 game here. Interested to see who's going to score the first goal.
Thompson for Seidlitz. Head coach Ronnie Mathiesen, same story as defender Nikolai Rasmussen. He went to the United States also as a 10th grade exchange student in Maryland and moved back to Denmark and started Danish lacrosse, starting on the original teams in 2004 and 06 with Simon Kofod, who is one of the originators of the sport. Simon's now 46 years old, but he's been playing lacrosse longer than anybody. Timeout taken by Sweden with no score, 6:17 left between two nations that know each other quite well. The battle for 21st place is on here in Wrocław.
Interesting you mentioned coming over for an exchange to Maryland. I can't think of a better place I would want to go to learn the game of lacrosse. Maryland, just a hotbed, producing so many good players in their MIAA league down there. Private schools, public schools, everyone plays in Maryland, in the Baltimore area. Other places would be, Long Island, upstate New York, Connecticut, Pennsylvania, Massachusetts now has a burgeoning program. And you even get people, people are playing in New Hampshire, Maine, Vermont. I mean, the whole sort of eastern seaboard. And then again, we have, not to mention, teams, as we've mentioned, out west and in the center of the country. So lacrosse is on the growth worldwide and definitely in the United States as well.
And then for the Danes, talking to Ronnie Mathiasen, the next phase is just getting more people playing, a couple more clubs that play. They often don't have enough to have full separate training. That can be the challenge when you have U.S.-based players. That makes all the difference when you have 2 full teams, when you have depth. But the Copenhagen Lacrosse Club, that is the most popular one, that has the most numbers. And they tend to cross over and play against the teams from Sweden, the team from Lund. And they actually have a tournament coming up in September. It's called the Filthy Birds Tournament in Lund. They're called the Lund Ducks. So they affectionately call the tournament the Dirty Birds Tournament, where a Copenhagen team, I think, is going to be there too. So there's a lot of connection between these two nations trying to grow lacrosse further in their respective countries. And doing so, they're really doing it together. Powers got all the way to the front. And Powers is able to go low, beating David Goodman on the bouncer.
Yeah, Kevin Powers is a great goal scorer for Sweden. We've seen that. He sort of he ran sort of a circular motion around, got his way past his defender, got in towards the goalie, switched from left hand to right hand, and beat him over his shoulder. It's a nice take by Powers, who is their leading scorer, I believe.
Yeah, he's been the leading scorer. Scored his 150th career goal in the early in this tournament, and the most all-time in international competitions. Quigley. Now Quigley trying to rake the second ball as Michael Beneby Harold, a returner to the international team for Denmark, and then the battle, last touch, they'll say, by Quigley. So the quickness of Quigley against the physicality of Michael Beneby Harold. He started playing high school lacrosse, and he's also out of the Copenhagen Lacrosse Club. Then moved to Denmark for college in 2015 and has stayed ever since. That's a very common story for the Danes, with college being free if you have citizenship.
And I've not been, but I've heard nothing but wonderful things about Copenhagen in general. It's on my list. Would love to get over there at some point. Bicycle culture is very big.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And the same, of course, for the Netherlands. Yeah. Bertil Kateger, and then he takes a big hit from Oscar Gramming. Play continues, and a shot coming from the high slot goes. That's Nikolai Lund, one of the pioneers of the sport, and certainly people significant in this team's development, ties it at 1.
Just nice little catch and shot right there. After that big hit, I was... it was good physical play. It was sort of shoulder to shoulder. It wasn't late. It was right as the ball was released. So, I think it was a great pass by the official on not flagging a play like that. And Denmark able to carry through and finish. Knotted this game up at 1.
Torben Ågaard made the feed. Lund ties the score. Lund's dad is Danish, mom American, and he went back and forth as a kid, but has lived in Denmark since 2017. Face-off win, and a chance. Seidlitz is able to deny the face-off man, Beneby Harold.
Yeah, nice save right there. Low shot, not a lot in it. Wasn't really sort of shooting for corners. Center of mass, nice save by the goalie. We'll see Sweden on offense now.
Powers, met by Posada, then takes the overhand shot, and flags coming out from 2 separate officials. We'll see Sweden's man-up unit for the first time. 1 minute slash.
That will be a slash on that. Just the stick got a little bit loose with the stick. Heard that plasticky sound. Often when you hear that, you can expect to see yellow flags flying, and we did. We'll see the man up here for Sweden.
So special teams, where the two teams practice this against one another 2 weeks ago. We'll see who can execute better, the defense or the offense. Quigley starts on the left with Powers up top, and the movement by Johansson to Quigley. Johansson the throwback, Gustav Thompson, feed down low, looking for Powers. He would have been along the goal line. Chance to keep it in for 19, Gustav Thompson, and instead it's taken back by Marius Mertz, the long pole mini, and a timeout will be taken by Denmark here to sort things through here late first quarter. They're still down a man for probably 20 seconds, and now they'll look to make a clear, or at least a pass or two, and get out of the man down. And good work done by Marius Mertz. Here we look at the goal. That was Powers to start things off.
It was interesting on that last play right there. The ball was propelled towards the midfield line by the Danish player, so there was no fear of an over and back right there. I think that, guys on the other side of the field may have thought that might have been the case, so they were looking to sort of just, tap it forward and keep it in the offensive side if you were Sweden. But, excellent ground ball right there and a presence of mind by the coach to call a timeout to preserve this possession in a tightly contested 1-1 game right now.
Sweden would try to press on this man up. Sweden 15-2 2 days ago against Bulgaria to pick up their first win. Denmark 10-8 over Ukraine. Second game of this tournament for Denmark. They suffered 2 serious injuries in the same game. They lost starting midfielder, offensive midfielder Dane Jensen with a couple of broken bones in his hand. He's from Valencia, California, and coaches high school lacrosse. And then they lost starting defenseman Jacob Bregenhoy to a serious ankle and knee injuries. He has since left Wroclaw and traveled back home. We were wishing Jacob Bregenhoy the very best. His teammates are thinking about him. And then they lost, due to just a scheduling conflict, Lucas Peterson, who had to leave yesterday, Friday, due to a scheduling conflict. Lucas Peterson had played collegiate lacrosse at Fairfield, so he was a starting defenseman too. So that's what Ronnie Mathiasen of Denmark is dealing with. At this moment, down 3 key guys, each team dressing just 16 out of the maximum of 22. And Sweden, out of their 16, 3 of them are goalies. So rosters are very short, legs are very short.
Yeah, and you mentioned that people having other, prior commitments and things like that. This isn't easy to get, 10 to, in some cases, 13 days off for some teams who did a little preseason camp over here. People are working professionally these days. Not everyone's a student. So it can be difficult to juggle those things, and, credit to them for doing that.
That's Nick Skeffington, who played and is from California, but moved to Denmark in 2018 full-time, attending college at Aarhus. Walking out in front, and, Ogard had at least 2 more steps in him. He gained the advantage on the defender, Gustav Ekman, and could have turned the corner.
Yeah, a little frustration on his part right there. You see he sort of held his stick up to his, his face mask right there. He sort of feels like he might have missed an opportunity because he gained some space, had a little bit more time than he thought, took a quick shot.
Bertil Kurtager, and his bouncer beat Seidlitz and grazed some post. And flying in for the rebound is Axel Olsen. And a low-to-low shot missing from Nikolai Lund. So Denmark, with their best possession, they killed off the slashing penalty. Olsen from the state of North Carolina comes out in front and scores. He's from Hogard, North Carolina. Axel Olsen is going to be staying in Denmark for school after graduating just this last month to make it 2-1.
Yeah, that's a really nice take. He comes around with that left hand, puts the ball into the top corner over the goalie's right shoulder, and nice job for Axel right there, because he had gotten that ground ball in the previous play. He really hustled through, showed a lot of hard work and grit to get that, and it pays off with him getting a scoring opportunity.
Dad is Danish, mom is an American, and Axel Olsen has grown up going to Denmark a lot and has come out to training very often, was on the team in San Diego as a 16-year-old.
We're going to have a flag right here.
Flag is down, and an outside shot will go for Powers to quickly tie the score at 2.
So the flag was going to be for not giving him a 5-yard distance on a restart, but we had Powers with that left hand rip right there, picks a corner. Nice goal right there, and that will nullify the penalty. The penalty was a technical 30-second penalty for delay, so they will not be at any man-up situation here. It will be all even for the next face-off.
Sweden gets the immediate answer. 2-2 with 9 seconds left first quarter. Clock stops on any whistle in the final 30 seconds of the first 3 quarters. Last 2 minutes of the fourth. Quickly, we'll win it to Powers. Powers with 4 seconds. And now a flag is out after the play. A slash on Jonathan Quigley, who had won the faceoff. It's something you don't see often, and it's going to lead to Denmark essentially having a full 1 minute to start the second quarter without a faceoff.
Yes, that's unfortunate for them. We've seen a lot of these. You and I have been on some games together where there's been some sort of last-second heroics or difficult situations right there. You don't want to have a penalty with that short a time. There's not much in it. Unfortunate for that slash, but Denmark will be the recipient of a man-up, and they will start the second quarter with the ball.
Denmark had taken the lead. Kevin Powers has 2 to lead Sweden. It's 2-2 as we head to the second quarter with a man-up coming for Denmark in the battle for 21st place and a chance to play in the 2027 World Division II Championship in 2 years on World Lax TV and Lax TV. Start of the second quarter, and after a slash in the final half second against Jonathan Quigley of Sweden, their face-off man. So 59 seconds and change for Denmark to try to take the lead for the second time on a man-up. Ralph Bjornchik alongside Marty Horkin from Wroclaw. Again, this is the battle for 21st place and the final spot for the upcoming World Division II Lacrosse Championship. Teams 8 through 21 from Europe will qualify for that new tournament.
As Denmark swings the ball around here, they want to get that ball moving. They want to keep it hot, as they say. You don't want to dodge on man up. You want to move and sort of shift and look to skip passes.
Well, this is a goal even through traffic. Nikolai Lund, he had a defender right on him, but still hits the shot.
Yeah, Lund sort of with that nice right-hand sidearm shot. Might have used the defender as a screen a little bit, and he beat the goalie on the pipe side, which is a difficult thing to do. Really nice shot. Great goal for him.
Skeffington will credit with the assist. Man-up goal for Denmark. And Sweden did everything well to try to defend that shot, and it still went in. Quigley will face off against Michael Benaby Harold the entire afternoon. Actually, won't be Quigley. They'll turn to Henrik Nelson here. And Benaby Harold is able to win that back easily to his D-Midi and Alex Farrington.
I think that penalty was expiring. They already had to send somebody out for the face-off, and as it expired, they could have put Quigley on a wing, but it just wasn't enough time to get him to the face-off X, I believe.
And a chance for Denmark to continue this momentum. Each team looking for their second win of this European Championship. Alex Bjorn with the righty dodge. Bjorn plays club lacrosse at Cal Poly. He's a Bay Area player. Ogard Skeffington. Then going to the jump shot. Well done. Bertil Kurtager. Kind of a half jump shot that he took. 4-2 Denmark.
Yeah, there's some good ball movement here. Little sort of a spin move to a step down to a bit of a jump shot right there. Really nice goal. Putting the distance to be a 4-2 game now in favor of Denmark.
Goal scorer number 33, Nikolai Lund.
Bertil Kurtager with the finish, jump shot unassisted.
Correction on our goal is by number 12, Bertil Kurtager.
Now procedure called, and Denmark with their best momentum in this game. They've scored 3 out of the last 4 to take a 4-2 lead. And also killed off a 1-minute man up of Sweden during that time. Running on was Farrington. Kurtager. Bertil Kurtager, and shooting low to high, Nikolai Lund. And the Danes have backup with Ogard.
That was a nice little look to the crease and a quick release as well.
Torben Ogard locates a room and time shooter, and that's off the stick on the bouncer, Alex Farrington. A very good look from 9 yards.
Yeah, I like that look, and again, once again, number 3 there, Agard with the pass. Nice rip. Unfortunate, didn't go in, but they retained possession.
Ogard this time comes out in front. And going to the splits to try to challenge that is Seidlitz, but it went wide. And Denmark playing confident. They're getting shots, getting good looks. Axel Olsen, as he frees up his hands, that's off the stick of Seidlitz. Recovered behind by Nick Skeffington. Seidlitz recovers. Skip for Ogard. Then he hitches right, and Seidlitz has to make the save. Ball right at him, but he was able to smother it and give Sweden a chance to clear.
That was a nice exchange there, too. Great look, better save, really nice ball movement, and that's the exact type of offense that Denmark wants to run, but excellent save by the keeper there on a difficult shot.
Kevin Powers with both for the Swedes. Has a cutting Quigley, then Quigley trying to hockey stick it to a teammate. Quigley pursues and will recover, and Quigley just went down in injury time. And Jonathan Quigley has been managing a hamstring injury this entire tournament, and even going back months. And talking to the staff, sometimes players learn their limitations. As described, head coach Martin Davidson, Quigley has been in that phase of knowing it. But Quigley here is going to receive some assistance. He had missed a game. He had played very little, just man up for several days. But the last 2 days, he's played almost full time.
I'll tell you, and he had a great, and unfortunate to see these situations, but it was a great pass to the crease. He had a nice look, didn't catch the first one, as you mentioned, sort of did this sort of hockey-ish backhanded attempt at the goal. And then I was about to remark at the speed that he had as he was going to get his own shot before it went to the end line. And as he got there, he did pull up a little lame, so hopefully he's okay.
Jonathan Quigley's from the state of Ohio, but moved to Sweden 3 years ago. Mom is Swedish. And that appears like it may be his permanent home as he walks off the field under some medical assistance. 4-2 is the score for Denmark. Sweden will have possession, and it's not just a loss as an offensive midfielder, but also the face-off ability of Quigley and to ignite transition off the break. Very akin to what Italy has in Angelo Venuto, similar type of game.
As before you made that comment, I was just thinking to myself, that's definitely going to affect the face-off game. He's a strong face-off guy, great speed, great ball movement. He will be missed.
Bramander, and he had cross cage Joel Salenhag, but they will say it's deflected by Denmark.
There might be a discussion. They stopped the clock. Never saw anyone say deflected ball, so they're going to switch their mind right here. It was a pass. The official who blew it dead, I think he was thinking shot on that. Clearly it was a pass, an errant pass, so the ball will switch over to Denmark here. And the key right there is getting the call right. You know, I like when they say, you know, if you have something, there's a bit of a question. One of the other guys, the third team on the field, is the officials. You know, they sort of talk it over, see what each one of them had, and I think in this case they definitely got it right.
4-2 Denmark. We'll hit 9 minutes to go. First half. And Sweden's chances certainly greatly affected if they can get Jonathan Quigley back to finish this one out. And every team has had an injury list of some kind, almost all of them, that have greatly affected them. And the ones that don't, they're the ones that have played deep and have high finishes.
Also speaks to the importance of the trainer that each one of these teams brings over here. They do a great job helping with these injuries.
Torben Ågaard off target on the feed from behind from Nikolai Lund. And also the prehab that is done before you get here, the stretching that takes place after games, all the little things. Hydrating, critical. Bertil Kitagar, Olsen.
I've been impressed when Denmark initiates from X with number 3. I think that good things happen when he touches the ball. He's turned the corner with ease a couple of times, so they might want to come back to that at some point.
Axel Olsen's shot. Back up again, keeps it with Denmark.
Stall warning.
First one of the day. Ågaard goes to the shovel shot. He didn't even release that from a high standpoint, Marty. Maybe belt high. And Ågaard makes it 5-2.
I just said it previous. I really like when this young man takes it from back there, and that shovel shot we saw it, you know, made famous by the Thompson brothers out at Albany, and great professional players as well. That's where you start to see that move a lot. But that's something I've seen in previous games that he does. Sometimes he's been saved on it, or maybe been a little off the mark. That one was on the money. Nice goal.
Ågaard with 1-1. Nelson taking over faceoffs for Sweden. And this is a ground ball picked up by Marius Mertz, now playing with a short stick on the wing. Follow up from Peter Duffield. Ågaard cannot reach it. And Denmark will give it back, but they've grabbed the 5-2 lead. And now a flag out for delay of game.
Prior to that, I was really impressed. Quigley sort of did a can opener to dislodge the ball from a player. Now we have a delay.
That sends Gustav Thompson off. And Sweden late to sub on their 5th man. And here a bit unsettled, but Denmark throws the ball between players. Axel Olsen the closest to it.
Yeah, that's unfortunate there for that man-up opportunity that they had right there to throw it away so quickly into it. It was a 30-second penalty, but You could see that people were subbing in late for both sides right there. International rules are such that you don't get a free substitution on a penalty situation like you might in the NCAA. Players come on, they have to wait, they have to sub through the box as normal, and right there we did have some late subs, but Sweden comes out with the ball, they'll look to kill this penalty and then clear.
No pressure on Aaron Larkenfeld. And he waits for a clearing midi to come on, but he overthrows UL Salenhag. But a flag after the play is going to be on Denmark on the pressure. And it's a 1-minute slash on Nikolai Lund, applying the pressure on Larkenfeld.
Yeah, there's a slash on that play. Maybe some complaints about the call, but I'll tell you, they're fortunate they didn't get another one going. As they shot, they shot after the whistle, well after the whistle, right there on cage. So that was a little bit suspect. Could have been a delay as well.
No chance to Sweden here to change their fortunes. It's a 3-goal run by the Danes. Powers at the top moves. Antonio Hansen has had several great assists in this tournament. This pass is away from the stick of Bromander. Shoveled along nicely by 17, Neil Schneider. And the pick up by Ludvig Thompson. Short time for Sweden. Johansson. Ludvig Thompson down into Powers. He was not expecting it. And it's handled by Goodman in goal.
Yeah, nice job by Goodman right there. I thought Thompson was going to maybe let that ball fly right there. I thought he was going to use the defender as a screen. He went for the sort of pass to the short pipe. It wasn't caught cleanly, so Denmark will have a chance here to increase their lead potentially.
Nice lead clearing pass by D-Meaty Chris Graveson.
Offside's called.
And Denmark eliminates that nice clear, giving it back. And transition in a hurry for UL Salenhag. 5-2, Denmark. Powers away from Posada. Looks to the backside, and Salenhag was in too deep, and this ball will skip out of bounds.
Yeah, that was one of those, you know that if they want to get back in this game, they're going to have to go to Powers right there. They do. He draws a lot of attention. That pass sailed on him a little bit right there. If he had thrown it with a little bit more velocity, he did have the open man on the backside, so I'm sure the coaching staff will put that in the back of their mind to come back to that on a future offensive possession.
Nikolai Rasmussen will go across here for Dylan Pash. Denmark to clear. Pash thinks about it, then fires it in. Pash was caught between shooting or passing. Thought about passing last second, and Nikolai Lund was not expecting it.
Yeah, it was a really nice athletic clear that he had there, switching hands, cradling. But I think he sort of ran himself into no man's land, especially with that long stick when you have guys, pursuing with heat. He sort of was caught in between that shot and pass situation, and the ball will turn over to Sweden.
Teams are all even. Denmark backing off here on their very soft zone ride. And Silas continues to approach. And now as he bounces it, Posada the closest to it for Denmark. And it'll be snatched off the ground by Denmark. And they'll use a very wise timeout, second and final timeout for Ronnie Mathiasen, with Nikolai Lund about to get into some trouble with 1:27 left. And Denmark can take a final good shot or two and take with them what could be a commanding lead into the half of this 21st place game. Not just on the scoreboard, but the situation if Sweden does not get Jonathan Quigley back for the second half. Soft tissue injuries, some kind of pull muscle, without knowing anything specifically. But based on the sight of that, Sweden's job would be that much more difficult.
Yeah, possession is such an important part of the game. We've seen that in several of the games, especially some of the quarterfinal and semifinal games. Face-offs are the key. They're key in this game as well, and they need to get possession. So hoping that he's doing okay over there. But if not, they're going to have to someone step up and try to win possession for Sweden as we move into the second half.
Meanwhile, Denmark, to talk about their concept coming out, Torben Aagaard has been their leading scorer. He had the last one on a very nice shovel shot, jump shot from Bertil Katayer. On the previous one, Lund from Skeffington and a man-up finish. And earlier, Axel Olsen on a dodge left. And Lund's first goal from Aagaard was on a pass from X to the wing. 5-2 Denmark.
In the games that I've had Denmark previously, they've sort of come from behind. They've been trailing a little bit. This game they have the lead, so it'll be interesting to see how they play with this and if they can maintain or extend this lead before we get to halftime.
And again, even in that Ukraine game where their flow greatly improved in the fourth quarter, felt the Denmark coaching staff. Here is Axel Olsen shooting, where they finally played a very good pace and tempo and shared the ball and did not try to dodge 1-on-2, 1-on-3. That had been hurting them the first three quarters against Ukraine. And they played their very best team game in the fourth quarter on Thursday. Aagaard then comes out in front with the bouncer. Again, just beating Gustav Ekman and a little face dodge. No slide to anywhere close, and it's 6-2 with Aagaard pouring in the points.
No, Aagaard, I've said it before, I'll say it again. He has done a great job out there. He attacks from X. He has his head up, too, so that if there is an early slide, he'd easily be able to move the ball to an open teammate. In that case, there was nobody sliding. He had the left hand. And unlike a rushed attempt that he had earlier, he sort of had the presence of mind to slow down, pick a corner, and put it away. Really nice take. Strong play by Aagaard.
Clock stops with 30 seconds left. Second quarter. It'll stop on any whistle here. Nelson. And he'll drop it off for Powers. So one more chance perhaps for the Swedes. Trying to end a 4-goal run. They've been held scoreless in the quarter. Powers gives it up. Bromander, and they get an answer with a flag out as well.
And that's going to be a flag. You saw that big hit at the end of the play there. But again, you're going to have to give the ball, to Powers. He drives in, finds the open cutter, and then we have an unnecessary roughness call. The ball was away. It was late. It was kind of big. So we're going to have a dead ball foul right there. The ball should come right back to Sweden.
1 minute call against Peter Duffield.
Number 18, Anton Bromander.
And Powers with 2-1, a hand in all three. There'll be no face-off here with 14 seconds left for Sweden. And how they can really change the course of this game here.
Momentum.
Powers waiting for the quick whistle. Sweden hoping for one more good look as they look to the bench for a short time call. 10 seconds.
They're going to be happy to maintain possession here.
Yep. You're right. Good call there, Marty. And Sweden will think about having a close to full-time man up to start the third quarter without a face-off. So it's 6-3 Denmark. And that's how quick things change in lacrosse. Aagaard with his second with 30 seconds to go before Bromander from Powers with 14 seconds left. And it's back to a 3-goal Denmark lead in the battle for 21st and the final spot for the 2027 World Lacrosse Division II tournament. One of these two teams will have a spot in that tournament in 2 years with a win today. We'll take time out for 10 minutes. You're watching the 2025 Men's European Lacrosse Championship from World Lacrosse TV and Lax TV.
Commercial break! We've been really busy over the past 2 years developing our very own women's lacrosse stick.
We are really proud of it. So stop by the shop. We would love to tell you more about it.
Good Stick Co. Come get a stick. Good Stick Company is here to manufacture and produce lacrosse sticks locally here in the Czech Republic. Our mission is to make lacrosse more accessible so more kids can have access to affordable, high quality equipment so more people can play this game and we can share this sport around the world. Our philosophy on pricing is quite simple. By removing all these different logistics and these middlemen in the manufacturing process of lacrosse sticks, we can pass those savings on to you. We can make these quality lacrosse sticks affordable for more people.
We honor our indigenous roots and international history. Lacrosse is more than a game. We play with speed, heart, and precision. Young, modern, electric, inclusive, growing across the globe. Lacrosse is everyone's sport, governed globally by World Lacrosse. We honor our indigenous roots and international history. Lacrosse is more than a game. We play with speed, heart, and precision. Young, modern, electric, inclusive, growing across the globe. Lacrosse is everyone's sport, governed globally by World Lacrosse.
you happen to look at this.
A man up begins for Sweden, who trailed Denmark in the 21st place game, 6-3. And the final spot for the 2027 Division II World Lacrosse Championship. There's a knockdown on the pass from up top. And it could be a potential opportunity. Man down for Denmark, and they do get the finish. Down a man, Alex Farrington. 7-3, Denmark.
I'll tell you that what a great play right there. Farrington picks that ball out of the air. They're in a man-down set right there because we had the penalty that carried over. Just a great play. They bring it up the field and a nice finish.
Dylan Pash made the play defensively, and Farrington essentially 2-on-1 down low against Seidlitz, and a potential back-breaking goal against the Swedes. Already missing their starting faceoff man, Jonathan Quigley, who was watching before to see if he would try to warm up at halftime, and looks like he may be done. Powers, meanwhile, off the wing, will grab it after the Henrik Nelson win. Bramander, he'll take the shot. Oh, what a shot that is! From the left side, an overhand look. Anton Bramander with his second.
Yeah, Bramander with a nice rip right there, and you could hear it sort of ping just inside the pipe. Nice placement on that shot, but I was very impressed. That's Henrik Nelson's second face-off win in a row. He's won them both really nicely. We'd come in thinking, oh, without Quigley, how are they going to win face-offs? Well, you know, next guy up mentality. Really nice job here for Sweden.
Now, just when it's looked like a couple of times Denmark can really create significant separation, Sweden has gotten a key goal. Bramander has scored their last two. And that's 7-4. And Nelson, this time against Beneby Harold, as they both end up in a stalemate. Beneby Harold picks up the ground ball, and the call will go against Sweden anyway. Well, for Denmark, if you're Ronnie Mathiasen, what a strong second quarter, Marty, that your team played. What do you think he told his Danes?
Well, I think that just, stay the course, do exactly what you've been doing. I think that their offense has been really looking good right here. I think that he's probably telling his defense, continue to press out, get to the hands of the offensive players, and continue to be disciplined, avoid any penalties. And I think that if they can do that, that might be the key to success for them.
Ball on the ground, Rafael Nielsen jarred it free. The youngest defender for Sweden, and Nielsen will eventually pick it up. Fine play by Nielsen. And off it comes to Seidlitz as Sweden comes up with the turnover. Then if you're Martin Davidson and assistant coach Jan Sagerlius, what do you think they told their team at the break? I think that they're probably saying, you know what, we need to sort of up our momentum a little bit, up the tempo, and I think you're seeing that right now. I think you got to get some fire in a game like this. You're playing for not only country pride, but for a spot in that tournament. And I think that there's no time like the present. Come out of second half, think about it and say, hey, it's 0-0. Let's win each play. Let's get one by one. I think that's probably going to be the mentality they're going to have. Denmark has remained man-to-man the whole time. Starting goalie David Goodman. Powers approaching, then turns on Posada. Nikolai Posada from Novato, California. Mom is Danish, and he is looking forward. Right now, he is taking EMT courses in California and looking forward to becoming a firefighter. And getting that process started, 17 in black as soon as this tournament is over, and continuing to represent Denmark moving forward. Anton Johansson tries to back down against the physical Dylan Pash. Given up to Powers. Room for Gustav Thompson. From one side to the other for Sweden, it's a two-goal game, and Powers another point. Yeah, we sort of had a little posting up going on there with the Swedish player on the defender, and then he kicks it through X. One more look and a nice finish right there. First of the day for Ludvig Thompson.
Number 6, Ludvig Thompson.
2 and 2 for Powers. 7-5 early third quarter.
I think Sweden here looking to just chip away, getting that one at a time. They've gotten two back. They're liking their efforts to get a third, hopefully, for them.
Nelson took a hard step forward, but it'll be decided on the wing. Oscar Gramming will pick it up.
And that's what Nelson does out there. He's sort of a strong man out there. He sort of looks for the clamp. They're sort of doing that like twisting around that you have there on a face-off sometimes, but he's making it a 50-50 ground ball, and his wings are coming out with nice plays right now.
Thompson, and he tested the stick of Goodman, and then I think he stepped in the crease behind goal. Got a decent look, and Posada will drop it off. And Denmark will hold here with Alex Bjorn. Bertil Katiger, also an earlier goal and a nice jump shot. And on comes Axel Olsen.
We're seeing the offense is sort of one of those, where it's a dodge, roll back, move the ball twice, dodge again. Another nice take there from Ugard from X. They'll keep coming back to that.
Kitager trying to use the screen as Gramming trails. Rather, Gustav Nordquist out in front. Ugard draws the flag, then going back to the left. Then, if he's shot immediately, he probably has a goal. The defender is able to recover, but Denmark will go man up again.
Yeah, another nice take, and again, they're initiating from X. They draw the flag right there. I think that when he comes around with that left hand, if he could just get the good power cradle and maybe shoot that ball with some authority on net, he'd have a great shot. We've seen that earlier. He keeps going to that left side, and he's strong to the right as well. So,
then an overhand look by Nikolai Lund is out. Back up here with Denmark. Out top, Nick Skeffington. Down low, Ugard trying to get good position. He had good position. Stick save made high from Seidlitz, and the backup will point the way of Sweden.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether it was the backup or if he stepped in the crease, but they are pointing Sweden's ball.
Yeah, I think you're right, Marty. It was in the crease. So transition chance for Sweden and to get out of this latest man down.
Credit to Sweden on the defense right there. Nice take by Ugard. He sort of, held to get one more look at it, and they sort of played great defense, and then he ended up legally, maybe got contacted into the crease, stepped in the crease, and now Sweden comes away.
Ekman is given a free clear by Denmark.
Surprised we're not having a pole push out on that. Usually you have a little pole-on-pole activity right there. They're not often the best stick handlers, not to say that some aren't wonderful, but might have looked to push out on that and get pole on pole and lock off the adjacents. That can be a nice play defensively. Didn't see it, but something to think about for the future.
Powers matched up against the physical Peter Duffield. Then Powers takes a shot. I think he hit Goodman right in the helmet. And then a flag coming out against Denmark.
It'll be illegal body check, 1 minute.
And that's going to be Peter Duffield that will sit.
You have a player lurking on the backside here, number 18 for Sweden, really looking to creep in there and get a look. So keep that in mind as the ball moves to the other side of the field. He's been trying to get that location.
It is Bromander that you mentioned. Then Bromander shut off from the shot. Good chase down by Marius Mertz of the Danes. And backed out. And they'll start back through Powers. Salenhag skips. Anton Johansson. Look to the back pipe again. He has Bromander, and Bromander could not jam it through Goodman, who got that somewhere on the thigh.
Great save by Goodman. I'd like that. Really, there was a lot of velocity on that shot and a nice catch by Bromander, but had he caught that and curled up field, he would have increased his angle and increased his chance of scoring. Nice save, though, by Denmark.
A whistle with Sweden still up.
We have a flag on the field.
And a second flag against Denmark as Bertil Kitager is also going to sit next to Duffield. Sweden will have the ball for a brief 6-on-4.
The officials are coming together to try to get that straight over there. May have been something around the substitution area.
Antonio Hansen waiting for the whistle. Great chance for the Swedes to get closer. It was 6-3 Denmark, or 6-2 Denmark late in the second quarter before a goal with 14 seconds by Bromander. Gave some Sweden some momentum they've carried through. Now penalty time is up on Duffield's. So now it's 6-on-5, and this pass gets away from Johansson, who's expecting it to go elsewhere, and turned over.
Yeah, that's one they're probably going to want back right there. They had pretty much a fresh 30-second man-up opportunity. They throw it away with an errant pass. Denmark will look to clear.
Rasmussen will back it up. Penalty time has expired on the last 30, and we're all even as the pursuit by 15 in black. Alex Farrington raked forward. Ludvig Thompson pursues Sweden, and still loose, and Powers will one hand pick it up. Look to flip to the front, and now we'll wait for Sweden to sub through and get back to a 6-on-6 possession. Then in front, Powers. Goodman denies him.
What a save by Goodman right there. I'm finding it hard to believe that he only recently picked up that stick, because he's showing some great play in that net, great body position. That is a big-time save on a goal scorer in a close game. Nice save right there.
That's the same thing Ronnie Mathiasen told me. You're not going to believe that he's been playing the position for only 4 months.
I don't.
But his cousin and starting defender Nikolai Rasmussen made the suggestion, hey, why don't you try goalie? We need more goalie depth with the situation they're facing. Veteran goalie, again, James Robertson, who's a native of Australia, was their starting goalie for the last couple of tournaments. But he has been dealing with injuries, also has kids. And then the U20 goalie, as I said, was unavailable. Dodging on the right alley, and the bouncer beats Seidlitz coming from Alex Bjorn, and Denmark extends back to 3.
Yeah, Bjorn with a nice take right here. Comes down off the pipe, directly at it. Nice shot. Shot low with the defender draped all over him. The defense wasn't that bad, but he got those hands free, and it was enough to get it past the keeper, and a nice goal.
So a big turnaround there after the brief 6-on-4. Denmark kills off another man up of Sweden to keep themselves in the lead.
Yeah, Denmark needed that goal. They it felt like the field was tilting a little bit towards the offensive side of Sweden right there, and they'll be happy to get that goal and increase their margin of lead. Henrik
Nelson, longtime wrestler in his life, will come up with the ground ball, and a timeout taken by Sweden. Trailing 8-5, 1:39 left, third quarter. And another key possession, try to get closer. I think it is obvious that Jonathan Quigley will not be returning for the rest of this game for Sweden. I don't even see him over on the far sideline anymore. So, unfortunately, his injury considered serious enough that he had to at least leave the bench area for the Swedes. But when he was facing off, he provides a burst and particularly an offensive threat after winning the faceoff that we'll see later on that Italy's Angelo Venuto provides, and others like Vinny Facciapanti of Latvia, who are expected to be first team All-European tournament.
Yeah, Quigley, right, he does bring that. He has, great lacrosse skills on top of being a face-off guy. I've seen a lot of face-off guys in my life, and some are really good at winning the clamp and maybe getting the ball out, but once they get the ball, all bets are off. They have to get it to an attackman really quickly and then hope to sub off, that sort of face-off, get-off type thing. Quigley is a sort of a two-way midfielder who also happens to be a face-off artist. I have been impressed with Nelson, though, as you mentioned, his wrestling background. Those things go really well together. I know several face-off men at the Division I collegiate level who were excellent potential state champion wrestlers at home. So wrestling and face-off does go hand in hand. It's that toughness, staying low center of gravity that they're used to battling during wrestling.
Yeah, I'm surprised we haven't heard of the lacrosse coaches attending some of the wrestling regionals to see and if they can identify, hey, who's someone we can convert to a face-off guy with the value of that position in the outdoor sport. Sweden spending their first time out of the second half. UL Salenhag and bounces it over to Kevin Powers. Powers across for a slam dunk opportunity. Salenhag denied by Goodman. And Salenhag stepped in the crease.
Once again, wonderful turn back here by Denmark. Great save. Thought it was a sure goal, would have been a highlight level goal. Now we have a highlight level save as he comes across and matches sticks and makes the save, and then the crease violation, so Denmark will look to clear.
Dylan Pash, and Pash stepped out of bounds. A very good ride by Salenhag, who was just denied on the doorstep. And perhaps Sweden with one more chance. Salenhag still showing fresh legs here on this final day. 7th game in 9 days for both teams. And the clear from Oscar Gramming. 30 seconds left. Clock will stop on any whistle to expire the third quarter. Ludvig Thompson has the matchup against the D-Midi Alex Bjorn. Thompson, natural lefty, fires across, open man Powers. What a delivery from Ludvig Thompson, 8-6.
Ludvig Thompson, that's a definite star of a play right there. He sort of comes in, turns his back to him, draws the double team, and then has the presence of mind to throw a bullet pass across the crease for the quick stick finish. Really nice goal right there for Sweden.
20, Kevin Powers.
Terrific off of the spin, and then to rocket that over to Powers for his third. And Powers with 5 points. 16 seconds left in the third. And off the wing, and it is Nelson. But the call is against Sweden with 9 seconds showing. Basada, and he'll fire ahead. 3 seconds to go for Torben Ogard. With 2 across, it's knocked down, and that'll be it for the third quarter. Denmark had a chance. They extended to 7-3, scoring the first goal before Sweden again getting a goal and an assist in the quarter from Ludvig Thompson and Kevin Powers. 8-6 as we go to the fourth quarter. 21st place and the final slot in the 2027 Division II World Lacrosse Championship is on the line from Wroclaw. Start of the fourth quarter, 8-6 Denmark. 21st place on the line, final spot for the Division II World Lacrosse Championship set to go in 2 years. As a Denmark player, Dylan Pash, his stick head came off of his stick, so he has to run off. Now a flag is down against Denmark. Feed to the front, Henrik Nelson from Ludvig Thompson, and now we'll get the whistle, and we will see Sweden go man up again.
Yes, right there. We did have the stick head come off. Not sure if it had a screw in it or maybe if the screw broke, but the stick head did come off. Player dropped it right away. Not exactly sure what the call is right away. It'll be interesting to see what we have, but it will be a man-up opportunity here for Sweden. As they trail 8-6, this could be a big attempt for them here.
The Denmark man-up, though, has been good. And it is illegal procedure, so Dylan Pash must have taken a step or two, Marty, and that's, we see that call often where players' initial reaction is to play defense without the stick, even for a moment, before they realize I can't do that, but they're already caught because that first step usually is in the direction of the defensive mindset.
Yeah, and his there with the head coming off, I think it took him a second to realize that it had in fact come off, so that might have been why he sort of got the call for playing without his equipment, or proper equipment.
Bromander gives it up for Anton Johansson. Ludvig Thompson, a crowd in front, they back it up to Salenhag. Then Johansson tried to feed through, Nikolai Posada has it. And Posada, with the first minute gone in the fourth quarter, will come up with the clear on the stick to Torben Ågaard. We are all even. The 30-second killed off, and then even better for the Danes. They'll get a goal from Alex Farrington. Ågaard with the play after Posada did the dirty work.
Yeah, that's a great carry by Ågaard right there, and then to find Farrington as he timed up his cut perfectly. You thought maybe Ågaard might push to the net. Two defenders on him, found the cutter, and that's a really nice finish.
Second assist for Ågaard to go along with 2 goals. Farrington second.
Number 15, Alex Farrington.
Denmark's largest lead was 6-2. And off the face-off, as Powers pursued, and Henrik Nelson has it for Sweden.
Streaking up the field is number 6 here. He has him available if he can find him. Katager. Excuse me. Thompson, Ludvig.
There's Gustav Thompson. And this is a telegraph pass. Ågaard will come up with the takeaway. Now as he sprints ahead on sidelets, Ågaard will take the look and finish it. 4-goal lead for Denmark. 2.5 into the fourth.
Oh, if you're Sweden, you can't be happy with that, with that exchange at all. Torben Ågaard with a great play. Reached up about as high as he possibly could to pick off that pass. After intercepting that pass, ran directly for the net. A couple little fakes right there, but he beats him between the legs. That's a great take, and then that's a big goal, extending this lead to 4.
5-point game for Torben Ågaard, leading scorer in this tournament for the Danes. Kevin Powers looks for the bouncer. Oscar Gramming the pickup. And Sweden will have to fight uphill again. They have had chances to cut it to 1 on 2 other occasions in the third quarter. And they led this game early 1-0. First possession, had it tied at 2 at the end of 1. This one shoveled over inside, and Gustav Thompson picks it up. Then his skip passes off the defender, then Powers fires, and Posada bothered the shot.
Yeah, nice active stick right there. The ball did come directly to the stick of Powers, who is their lethal shooter there, and he sort of said, I'm going to take a swing at this, and it goes out of bounds.
Thompson, Gustav Thompson carried through Powers this time. They had connected for a terrific goal earlier at 8-6.
Yeah, that cutter was there. The pass was available. It was just a little off the mark, sails out of bounds. So we'll see Denmark clear with a 4-goal lead. Will they push to the net? Will they try to chew some clock? We shall see.
Alex Farrington clears for the Danes. 10.5 to play. The Danes down 3 starters, including losing 2 in the same game, their second game to Slovakia. And then starting defenseman Lucas Peterson having to leave yesterday and Friday with a schedule commitment. And meanwhile for Sweden, losing Jonathan Quigley, who has been dealing with a hamstring pull coming into this tournament, and looks like losing him for good midway through the second quarter today. Ogard, outside, room in time, outside shot, Bjorn, perhaps off the arm or shoulder of Richard Zeidlitz.
That's an interesting call right there. They're going to give the ball to Sweden. Player may have been out of bounds. You can't be the closest to the point of exit if you're out of bounds. They said they may have said he touched the ball, but if his impetus, if it was going to go out of bounds anyway, then that wouldn't be considered that. So it must have been a situation where I would imagine that the Danish player was maybe out of bounds, and so the Swedish player was closer to the point of exit.
Nielsen with a free clear. That's been an occasional adventure for Sweden on the clear. Powers been matched up against Suffield. Powers given the shoulder, Johansson. Neil Schneider, and then he loses it just through his stick.
Yep, that was just a simple game of catch between 2 guys out high, and the ball might have sailed a little bit on him, and it goes out of bounds, and it'll be Denmark ball.
Bjorn will come up with a clear. He and his younger brother, backup goalie Daniel Bjorn, who is going into his high school junior year. They're both out of Sokol High School in the Bay Area, California. And I'm sure having the time of their lives here in this tournament.
We've seen a lot of sibling connections, family member connections between coaching staffs, players, father-son situations. It's a family affair when it's lacrosse.
Ogard had his stick lifted as he tried to come out in front, but he's been able to work the crease well. 3 goals, 2 assists. Denmark up 4, and another one could really put this one to bed with under 8 minutes left. Axel Olsen trying to roll back. Olsen retreats, and a timeout here for Coach Ronnie Mathiasen, probably sensing the same thing. A good possession here could perhaps decide the game in favor of the Danes. Well, Denmark Lacrosse had no junior program until 2016, and now they have even younger kids playing. They have kids that are U12. Over there on the sideline is Ronnie's son, Viggo Mathiasen, who just started playing 2 years ago at the age of 7. They have kids in Denmark that find them on social media all the time and ask how to go about buying a stick. So they're always sending out links about how to buy sticks. They even have a player that lives on a tiny island off the coast in Denmark that plays lacrosse by himself, just wall balling, and he's 20 years old. So those are the challenges, and it's so fascinating to hear that the different journeys these developing nations are taking for this sport compared to particularly for someone from the United States, and how easy it is to get started in the sport, and how all the structure is already laid out, and here are the different stories and challenges that these countries face.
Yeah, and those, playing wall ball, as you mentioned, that's one of the skills that you can't reinforce enough that young players do. You can always get better, and especially given you have YouTube these days. I mean, you can go on there and they'll give you wall ball routines that you can use. I know a youth program near me. You can earn a team helmet if you can finish X amount of passes with no drops in a certain amount of time, and that's how you earn it. But in order to do that, you have to really have great stick skills. But, the wall ball will definitely help with the stick skills, and then they can sort of work through getting them some gameplay as they come into that. The stick skills are just imperative to have those.
Yeah, that's what the point Ronnie Mathias made. We can practice a lot, but getting game experience is the hardest thing to do. And as it grows more and more, you start to have more developed club teams. So at least these players in their home countries can have a chance to play through a lot more time and score situations, the speed of play, versus going through practice and training. Out in front, Torben Ågaard. Out of the timeout, they find him. He's able to dodge from behind, and no slide was there on the post. 11-6.
Yeah, Ågaard there, he's been taking it to his left nearly every other time, and he's been having trouble sort of corralling the shot and getting it on cage. And I've been thinking that he clearly looks to be a right-hand dominant player. Glad to see that he comes back to the right hand, because I think he has a little bit more confidence in that shot, and he puts it right past the keeper on a great take. But he's the guy, like I said earlier, he gets things stirring back there. You have to have it go through him offensively if you're Denmark.
Denmark scored all 3 of the fourth quarter, 6:40 to go. Henrik Nelson is able to drive the faceoff back, and Oscar Gramming will pick it up. So the comeback for Sweden has to begin now. The way Nelson's faced off, he's showing promise that he can win multiple in a row against Michael Benabi Harold. Powers, short side tries, Goodman denied. Posada the pickup, and the outlet ahead for Duffield. And here comes Denmark. However, an overpass, and a flag is out. While Oscar Gramming inadvertently ran into the Denmark player.
Yeah, that was a pretty big hit. They're going to get him for either interference, which they could. The ball was away. They could get him for an illegal body check here. As you see, the player stays on the ground there. Open field like that. Hate seeing those sorts of things. I don't think there was a lot of intention in it, but in any case, they were disadvantaged at the very least. So Denmark will retain possession of the ball.
Cannot tell who the injured player is down. I think it's Marius Mertz of Denmark, but now the paramedics that are on the scene here are going to give some assistance with 6:07 left. 11-6 Denmark. Trying to close out the Swedes in this battle for 21st place and the automatic berth, the final spot out of Europe for the 2027 World Lacrosse Division II Championship.
Prior to that play, we had another great save by Goodman. I mean, he just continues to impress. You mentioned only playing for a short amount of months. Great presence back there, no fear, good body control, plays good angles, and hugs that pipe when he has to. That was an excellent save that started the break that happened prior to this little collision we had at center field.
Good sign that Marius Mertz is able to sit up. Both teams trying to get to the finish line. And just the relief of some teams just seeing them walk off the field, the exhilaration that they made it through, all the training that this takes place, the life sacrifices that it takes place to be ready to play in this tournament. As Marius Mertz is able to walk off the field under his own power. He and his brother Malte Mertz are both high school players, or rather both through the Copenhagen Junior Club. Both parents are Danish, and but both from the United States. And Malte this time unable to play in this tournament after Marius Mertz had a knee injury 2 years ago in San Diego, who had to play, was an alternate there, and could not play. He had to watch his, at the time, 18-year-old brother Malte play. 6:05 to go, 11-6. Denmark with possession and the man-up opportunity for a minute just to manage the rest of this clock. Goodman on the other end has been very good. They got the benefit of the Quigley injury of Sweden, but otherwise, Torben Ågaard quarterbacking things around the crease. They've gotten just enough balance on the offensive bouncer. And Seidlitz is able to find it. Ogard again the shot.
Yeah, Ogard tried to use the defender as a screen right there, shot around him a little bit. Sometimes your follow-through might follow through and hit the defender. It was a nicely disguised shot, but a really nice save over there by Seidlitz.
Now Sweden has to find a way to up the tempo on the clear. And they'll bounce it ahead for Ludvig Thompson. 5:15 left. Ludvig Thompson pass behind Powers. And it's out of bounds.
I thought Thompson might have had a step on his defender right there. I thought he would continue that drive and maybe go for a sort of on-the-run take, or just go to his strong left hand and maybe try to get something with a low and away. Went for the pass, and it went awry.
Olsen will transition. Denmark with 4:40 on the clock. They have one timeout left. Ogard shooting. And that's in. A bouncer somehow sneaks through. Initially, Marty, I thought that was side netting because the angle was not very good. As we catch a replay to see where this went in, that might have skipped 5 holes.
Yeah, you let her beat him by the pipe, but I was thinking to myself, this is an ambitious take right here, sort of. I'm thinking maybe sit on the ball a little bit, kill a minute or two, even take a stall warning, and then time's on your side. He had a different thought and put it past the keeper, though.
Yeah, particularly early in the possession, with time and score being what it is, but Denmark going for the closeout. Face-off win, Michael Beneby-Harold. And now they can start to play keep away for a while. Ogard against the face-off man, Henrik Nelson.
And they'll be content to just possess the ball right here. They probably wouldn't even mind if they took a stall warning at this case. They're doubling up Sweden. Time is definitely on their side. There's no impetus for them to go to the cage right away.
Tager, Ogard, over the top, Olsen. Now Olsen will gear up the hands. And a safe shot from 18-year-old Axel Olsen. 3:05 on the clock. Bertil Kurtager, and he is able to come in, and Denmark putting on the finishing touches of a strong game. After coming back from behind on Ukraine 2 days ago, this is Bertil Kurtager, 13-6.
Yeah, and Kurtager taking a page out of the Ogard book right there, attacking from X. I think Sweden just hasn't sort of figured out when they either get inverted behind or they get attacked from X. They're having a little difficulty with their slide package, and they're coming around untouched, and it was a nice goal, nice finish by Kurtager.
His second. Beneby-Harold will draw it back, and it's all Ludvig Thompson. Two nations that are working to try to improve their junior programs. Turner, fadeaway shot, Henrik Nelson, and Goodman able to go pipe to pipe. But Denmark will have something to work for 2 years from now, as Denmark will turn it over. I think their man stepped in the crease, and Dylan Pash. Anton Johansson, he's smothered, continues with it. Cannot get the shot off. It is golfed forward by Chris Gravison with a chip clear with 1:40 left. Imagine what David Goodman is going to look like in 2 more years of goalie training, Marty, as one real positive for Denmark for that Division II World Lacrosse tournament.
No, he's looked very solid in cage today.
Anton Johansson, this is fought off. Pursuing is Gustav Nordqvist. Gravison, and it's eventually cleaned up by the Danish defense. Will hit the final minutes. This was a 7-5 game, about 3/4 of the way through the third quarter. And then 8-6 going into the fourth after a Kevin Powers goal. But Denmark is in position to shut out the Swedes in the fourth quarter. And Torben Ogard coming up with 3 straight goals. He has 5 and 2 with 35 seconds left. And Denmark even missing 3 starters in this game from their original lineup. Sweeping across to the jump shot to add some more separation is Alex Farrington with his third, 14-6.
Yeah, Farrington right here, he comes in, he sort of shows a big swim move, gets to his dominant right hand, kind of a jump shot there, and it's a nice finish by Farrington.
27 seconds to go, and for Sweden, a disappointing finish. And their staff knows we've got to get the junior level team going. Anton Johansson was their last team's coach in Limerick. Face-off win, Beneby Harold. Then he turns it over, but that's certainly where it starts. And having a chance to spend a lot of time together, work on cohesiveness, having a deep player pool, and also finding ways to get healthy and stay healthy in these tournaments, another massive challenge. But for Denmark, quality finish to Thursday's win over Ukraine. Today, they shut down Sweden in the fourth quarter, score all 6 goals, and they run away with a 21st place game finish, 14-6. Denmark clinches the final spot out of Europe, 21st place, and they'll have a spot in the 2027 Division II World Lacrosse Championship. Congratulations to the Danes and their coach, Ronnie Mathiasen. Torben Orgaard, 5 goals, 2 assists. Alex Farrington, also with 3 goals. Kevin Powers, and another tremendous game for Sweden, led the way for the Swedes with 3 goals and 2 assists. 14-6 is our final score, coming up at about 4:30 local time here from Wroclaw, Poland. It'll be the battle for 7th place and the last spot in the World Championships between Germany and France, and then the gold medal game at 7 between Italy and Israel. That'll do it for Marty Harkin and our entire crew here. My name is Ralph Pinarcha. We say so long and thank you. You've been watching the 2025 Men's European Lacrosse Championship on Lax TV and World Lacrosse TV.
Commercial break! We've been really busy over the past 2 years developing our very own women's lacrosse stick.
We are really, really proud of it. So stop by the shop. We would love to tell you more about it.
Good Stick Co. Come get a stick. Good Stick Company is here to manufacture and produce lacrosse sticks locally here in the Czech Republic. Our mission is to make lacrosse more accessible so more kids can have access to affordable, high-quality equipment so more people can play this game and we can share this sport around the world. Our philosophy on pricing is quite simple. By removing all these different logistics and these middlemen in the manufacturing process of lacrosse sticks, we can pass those savings on to you. We can make these quality lacrosse sticks affordable for more people.
We honor our indigenous roots and international history. Lacrosse is more than a game. We play with speed, heart, and precision. Young, modern, electric, inclusive, growing across the globe. Lacrosse is everyone's sport, governed globally by World Lacrosse. We honor our indigenous roots and international history.